Hello. Today I'm going to introduce you to something called shadow work, or working with our own dark side, or shadow. But before we delve into the process of shadow work, let's first understand what it means. The term shadow, in the context of shadow work, does not refer to a shadow created by light, but rather symbolizes the hidden side of the human psyche. This concept comes from Carl Jung's depth psychology, which explains the primary meaning of shadow is the subconscious part of our mind that we deny or suppress, such as anger, fear, jealousy, shame, desires that society deems undesirable, or even positive potential that we fear being rejected. It's the dark side of personality, not because it's bad, but because it's hidden in the darkness of unconsciousness. A key characteristic is social and family adaptation. When children are taught that certain emotions shouldn't be present, such as anger or assertiveness, we push them into the subconscious, becoming the shadow. This shadow isn't always negative. It can also include abilities or talents that we're afraid to display, such as leadership, confidence, or creativity. For example, you might be angry, but you might say you're never angry. Repressed anger is the shadow. Or you fear rejection but express it through criticism of others. This fear is the shadow that manifests itself through behavior. In short, the shadow is the part of ourselves that we deny, reject, or are unaware of. This includes emotions, thoughts, and potential hidden in the subconscious. Shadow work is a gradual process of bringing these things back into the light, allowing us to truly be ourselves. From a spiritual New Age perspective, this concept is broader than its psychological origins. Shadow work is linked to spiritual awakening, releasing trapped energy, and returning to oneness with the universe. It has several key strengths. First, awakening and energy elevation. The shadow is believed to be low vibration energy, such as fear, anger, and shame. Shadow work is a cleansing of energy to raise its frequency, ready to receive higher frequency energy from the universe, such as the power of unconditional love or the power of the chakras. Second, merging with the higher self. New Age practitioners view the shadow as a fragmented part of the soul. Shadow work is a way to fuse with the higher self, allowing the soul to return to a state of wholeness, a journey to higher awakening. Third, tools and rituals often incorporate meditation and energy breathing, using crystals such as obsidian or black tourmaline to absorb dark energy, and recording or energy releasing rituals, such as writing down what you want to release and burning it on paper. Fourth, it's linked to global change. Some schools of thought believe that when individuals practice shadow work, the collective human spirit will purify and help the world transition into a golden age or new earth. Fifth, it differs from psychological approaches. Deep psychology focuses on understanding the subconscious and personal wounds, while spiritual New Age expands its dimensions to include universal energy, awakening, and spiritual elevation. In summary, in spiritual New Age, shadow work is not simply a healing practice. It is seen as a sacred ritual to purify energy, release the past, and allow the soul to connect to the universe to its fullest potential. It is both healing and awakening, bringing practitioners closer to the oneness of all things. Although shadow work can be incredibly beneficial, many people are often tricked by their subconscious to ignore it. The main reasons why we refuse to work with our shadows include 1. Fear of confronting past pain. Shadow work often brings us back to old wounds, such as childhood memories or rejection. These memories can trigger sadness or anger that we try to avoid. So the mind uses avoidance mechanisms to protect itself from recurring pain. 2. Shame and self-image protection. The dark side often involves emotions or thoughts that society labels as negative, such as jealousy, greed, and anger. Many people don't want to admit them for fear of damaging their image or being judged. Sometimes we even deny them publicly to maintain the feeling of being a good person. Third, unconsciousness and repression. Many people don't even know they have a shadow. Repetitive behaviors or violent reactions may stem from long-held subconsciousness. Initiating shadow work is like unearthing what we don't know exists. 4. The belief that negative thoughts are taboo. In some cultures and spiritual traditions, people are taught to think positively all the time, feeling that acknowledging anger, sadness, or fear is a failure. As a result, they try to push these things away instead of listening and healing. 5. Fear of the consequences of change. Shadow work often allows us to see new truths about relationships, careers, or life goals. These changes may mean adjusting our lifestyle or abandoning old behaviors. This uncertainty leads many to choose to remain the same, even when they know they're not fulfilling their lives. If the shadow isn't confronted, the consequences will gradually become apparent. 1. A repetitive cycle of behavior, such as recurring relationship problems, attracting the same partner, or overreacting, is triggered by the unhealed shadow pushing the emotional buttons to repeat the same behaviors. 2. Physical and mental symptoms. Accumulated stress may manifest as headaches, insomnia, or chronic illness. Repressed emotions can develop into depression or anxiety. The body often acts as a mirror of what the mind is trying to suppress. 3. Loss of vitality. Rejecting feelings consumes enormous energy, leading to feelings of fatigue, lack of inspiration, or a sense of lack. Denying the shadow is a rejection of a part of ourselves. 4. Judgment and projection onto others. When we don't acknowledge our dark side, we often see these flaws in others, such as blaming others for selfishness, even though we ourselves share that side. This leads to conflict in families, workplaces, or social situations. 5. Spiritual growth is stunted. From a spiritual perspective, not embracing the shadow is a denial of our wholeness. Therefore, deep awakening is not possible because part of our soul is blocked. Overall, not confronting the shadow is like closing a door in the heart. The door may appear silent, but it is filled with noise and pressure. One day, this pressure can become strong enough to explode in the form of health problems, relationship issues, or life crises. Denying the shadow doesn't protect us, but rather slowly steals our freedom, joy, and full potential. So how do we begin to confront our shadow? Confronting the shadow involves gently and safely getting to know the hidden side of our psyche. Here are some practical and applicable guidelines for everyone. First, set intentions and safe spaces. Set clear goals, such as, I want to know and accept all parts of myself, and create a calming environment, such as a quiet room or a meditation corner where you feel safe. Second, practice non-judgmental observation. Use meditation or mindfulness to monitor your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. When strong emotions like anger, jealousy, or shame arise, observe them without rushing to dismiss or jump to conclusions. Third, keep a shadow journal. Write down your feelings, deep thoughts, and traumatic events without editing or embellishing them. Ask yourself, what makes me most angry or jealous today? Or what fears me most if others find out about this? Writing opens the door to forgotten or suppressed memories and truths. Fourth, use a relationship mirror. Observe someone you find deeply repulsive or irritating and ask yourself if what you dislike about them reflects something about me. This is how you see the shadow through the other person. Fifth, Accept and embrace the shadow. When you encounter an aspect you dislike, don't immediately try to erase or fix it. Instead, say to yourself, I recognize that this anger or fear is part of me, and I don't need to be ashamed. Acceptance is the first step to integrating the shadow into your whole self. 6. Seek support when needed. If memories are particularly painful or disruptive to your life, work with a therapist or coach who understands shadow work. Having a professional hold you in a safe space will allow for deeper and more stable healing. The key is to proceed slowly and gently. Don't pressure yourself. Shadows aren't necessarily bad things, but are parts of you waiting to be embraced. Every time you acknowledge them, you restore your life force and independence. In summary, begin by observing honestly, journaling, reflecting on relationships, and accepting all emotions with safety and gentleness as the foundation. Facing the shadow isn't about eliminating it, but about integrating all aspects of yourself into one. This opens the way to peace and deeper growth. In the next video, I'll share the energy of shadow work with you, so you can more easily work with these hidden things. See you in the next video. If you found this clip helpful, please like, share, subscribe, or leave a comment below to encourage us. For those interested in receiving personal energy from afar, please visit
worldwideweb.divinetoearth.com.
See you in the next clip.